So, welcome to Healing Garden, Reverend Martin Riley and Dr. Margaret Nixon of Australia. Welcome to Healing Garden.
Wonderful to be here this year.
First of all, tell us a little bit about your impression of Nagaland. First impression. This is your first visit to Nagaland, obviously.
It is. It's our first visit to Nagaland, and I think the impression has been one of such a rich and diverse culture, a land of amazing history, very, very deep stories, and for me, beautiful textiles is what I have absolutely loved.
Thank you.
What I've appreciated too is getting an understanding of the complexity and the mixture of different tribes, and as Margaret said, the dress, which seems to distinguish the tribes. And I understand that the textures and the dress is very symbolic of the difference. What I've appreciated as well is just hearing a little bit more of the stories of each tribe, and we had this wonderful opportunity to see Komana, to visit there.
Konoma.
Konoma. An incredible community, village, with a rich history in fighting for their own freedom, standing up against the might of the British, who for many years tried to take Connemara. And alongside and hearing those stories and celebrating those stories, seeing then this wonderful valley, rich with these paddy fields, sustained and sourced with underwater springs, it was just so beautiful. It was like paradise. We really appreciated that, and that was only just one village. We've no doubt that there are many others with similar beauties.
Okay, so you also went to Hornbill Festival, and this festival is very well known.
Yes.
And they call it Festivals of the Festival.
Festival of the Festivals.
Festival of the Festivals. But tell us, what are your impressions?
Well, firstly, it was an opportunity to witness and to see tribal dance, tribal culture, tribal story. To see that, to hear it, to hear the song, to see the dance. That to me was the highlight. Probably the low light, though, was the opening ceremony that didn't seem to have much representation of the tribes, which we thought the Hornbill Festival was going to be about. For us it is. But it seemed to be an overemphasis on, and we understand this, but an overemphasis on dignitaries who had come, and I just wondered whether the tribes could be more represented in that, because we were there to see the tribes and their representatives, to hear those stories again, whereas it seemed to be a lot more about the dignitaries and honouring them. It seemed to be a little contrived for us.
Okay, so we'll go slightly a different approach.
Sure.
Will tell us about yourself, what you do in Australia, because that should be the first one. But we
right.
started with the impression, but the audience would like to know who you are, what you do in Australia.
Maybe first, Margaret.
For my work, I'm...
And you have a PhD in education.
Yes, a
from
PhD.
Melbourne University.
Correct. So I did that PhD relatively late in life, and it came through my work history in schools, and my particular interest was working through the medium of visual arts to really to build young people's understanding of both their inner world and to appreciate the inner world of another person. And because those skills are the skills that we need when we want to get on with people. They're the skills we need to be able to negotiate, to be able to participate in groups. They're skills that allow us to then reflect and hear what another person's opinion is and to value that opinion without us having to take offence that it is different to our opinions. So really important skills, and so my PhD was around using visual arts to do that. And the place of where I did my research was in Nicaragua, where we've spent a number of years, over 6 years of our life living together over there and with our family. So I worked with children and young people and teachers in Nicaragua, just looking at how this would work for them. And as a very small research, it had very positive possibilities. So from that, I came back to Australia in 2018 and worked at ANU with the Australian Child and Adolescent Trauma, Loss and Grief Network. And then from there, I now work for Headspace Schools and Communities in Australia, where I support schools and work with teachers around creating mental health and wellbeing in schools, and also around suicide prevention and response. So that's the background that I bring. And in that, mingled with that, and my particular interest in the textiles is that I also dabble in textile arts, and so to come here and to sit and see the intricacies, to see the colours and how those textiles are used as a way of representing culture, as a way of symbolising what is important for a culture, the different motives, the different style of dress, how textiles creates great meaning and can help to communicate culture and what's important to others. So that's my background.
How interesting. You have such a huge experience of life. Now, Martin, I've known you for nearly 30 years, and you look the same.
No, I'm not sure that's a compliment.
But tell us about your life and
My life.
your work in Australia.
I've in many ways, I have worn different hats in terms of work life, but we've had many different experiences both here in Australia and overseas. We've spent, as Margaret said, 6 or 7 years in Nicaragua, where I was seconded to work as a pastor. So one of the hats that I've been wearing is a pastor both in Australia and also both in Nicaragua. In Nicaragua, I was involved with creating a street kid program, and thereafter a community-based program for children or children at risk. So community development is another hat. I've been a lawyer, practicing lawyer in Australia, another hat. Now, I guess you could probably say that I'm a qualified supervisor and counsellor. So I guess I'm doing that at the moment currently.
Oh my God, you've done quite a few things, huh?
Perhaps.
So let us come to Healing Garden.
Maybe that makes me a mad hatter. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You are now in Healing Garden.
Yes.
Again, tell us what you think of Healing Garden. What comes into your mind when you enter Healing Garden and interaction with us and looking around and walking around the Healing Garden? What you made out of this?
I want to congratulate you this year because it's clearly your vision, and I think it's a vision that in our little time here in Nagaland we've heard the stories, and we've heard the pain and the struggle, and I think that we can see signs of the struggle that is still evident, and there needs to be a place for healing. There needs to be a place for restoration. There needs to be a place for where communities and leaders can get together to have this opportunity to meet, to talk, to have dialogue, to have open conversation. Where, you know, we've been on the healing trail, and I think, correct me, that there are 3 windows of opportunity in the healing walk.
That's right.
There is reflection,
Yes.
there is correction,
Yes.
and then there is direction. And then you can walk again for further reflection, further correction, and further direction. Everybody, let alone every community, needs to have these formative phases in their life. And it's a wonderful opportunity for a restoration of a community that is in pain. It's a sanctuary. Congratulations.
Well, we are so fortunate to have you with your experiences and your life journey. And I hope you'll come again now that you have seen it. What would you leave the last words to us? Where we can do better in the Healing Garden? What you think we can do more in Healing Garden? Or what are your expectations?
What am I expecting, or our expectations?
Your expectations.
My goodness, I don't feel it's our place to add to that conversation. It's new for us. You know, I'm not quite sure what you would say.
Yeah, no, I would agree, but I can see there's so much potential that I think links back a lot with that chance to reflect, and creating time and space for people to reflect is really can be that first start where they can actually start thinking about what they want to hang on to for themselves and what it is that they may want to change. And so I think the potential here for individuals, when I think about the conversations I've had with people about education, and I think for teachers to be able to come here and think about what they want to hang on to, what they want to change within the work that they do. I can see there's so much potential of being able to use this for individuals, for community groups, for professional groups. And I think that would be very exciting.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very interesting.
Well, even if I can add too, you know, and that's so well put, but it's also an opportunity for, in our world, it's so chaotic. And in our world in Australia, even in Nagaland, where the pressures are on everybody really, to have an opportunity, as a pastor I would say, to sit and be quiet and be still. And there in the midst can come a discerning opportunity, if you like, for those who are Christian, to discern the Spirit of God. And then for themselves to find their way again. And it can be a place of meditation.
Those are words of wisdom. I wish to go well and come again.
Okay.
We would like to welcome you again next year.
God bless
Go
you.
well, my friend.
We
Also,
would love to.
Go well, everyone.